That was so much trying to figure out how to connect my damn microphone that I don't even want to do it no more. I also have been drinking a little bit, so there's that on that. Um, okay, so hello, hi. I look a mess. Welcome to Philosophy, Bullshit, and Complaints. Um, I'm a little bit drunk, and I'm also very exhausted. I have a lot going on, but the grind don't stop. So anyway, if you are new here, welcome to Philosophy, Bullshit, and Complaints, where we philosophize, talk bullshit, and complain. Um, and today's episode is going to be a lot of complaining. Um, The reason being because there's just been so much going on, and I have so many feelings that I have been keeping bottled up inside for various reasons. I'm busy, everybody else is busy. I'm going through things, everybody else is going through things. I'm working like a dog. I'm trying to figure out how to save my own fucking life right now. As much as it would be easy for me, and I would kind of prefer to just give up and die. But anyway, where was I going with this? Yeah, a lot of complaining because everything stinks right now, okay? That motherfucker is back as the president again, and Americans are just as stupid as ever, and I'm tired of seeing people try to like position themselves as some type of, I don't know, leader or expert or um, I don't know, just some type of like face, prominent figurehead of certain movements, certain aesthetics, certain creative cultures and communities, and so on and so forth. Like, I'm actually really sick of it, especially because you end up finding out at some point in time whether you can sniff it out early, or you actually end up investing like your money, time, energy, support, whatever, into certain people, and end up finding out later on down the line that they're grifters. Basically, they're frauds. They're not really about what they claim to be about. They don't really know about the community that they're trying to make money off of, or what it ends up being a lot of the times, because you're not, if you're a grifter, if you're fraudulent, you're not going to make money off of the community. Like, they know better. So you're going to make money off of people who are wannabes, people who want to infiltrate the community, people who aspire to be a part of the community but don't know how to get started, or um, don't really respect the personhood that comes along with these people, because they aren't just aesthetics, and they aren't just um, mood board inspiration. They aren't just muses or images to co-opt in order to market and sell yourself to a wider audience. Like, they're real human beings, and they look the way that they look, and they do the things that they do because they want to, they have to, they like it. It's a part of their personality. It's a part of their job. It's whatever, but it's not coming from trying to be something that they're not. They're just doing what they have to do. Like, you don't try to be yourself, you just do it because you can't do anything else. You don't try to do your job, you just do it because you have to do it. Otherwise, you don't have a job. Excuse me while I do this other eyebrow. Okay, actually that's better so we can talk. So anyway, like it irks my nerves that there are people who don't really like have the knowledge, the experience. And when I say knowledge, I don't just mean, you did some Googles. I mean, like, it's a part of your study, it's a part of your curriculum, it's a part of your lifestyle, your journey, your experiences, your special interests. Like, it's something that you actually invest yourself and time into, rather than something that you just casually stumbled upon and you just have an interesting fact in your head now. People positioning themselves as someone who is like the face or a leading person in a movement or aesthetic or style of something. And then when you come to break down their ethics, their belief system, their moral understanding of themselves and the world around them and the things that they surround themselves with and live, breathe, support, whatever, it's not really what they're selling to you. And granted, I understand, we all gotta work. We all gotta make our money. And marketing involves, because if you don't know, my degree is in fashion marketing and management. And I know it will probably not appear as so because I loathe marketing. And that's because I understand it. Like, as I, got deeper into my 3-year journey of getting my degree, I realized that, like, the fashion world was some bullshit, the business world was some bullshit. It's all some bullshit. It's a scam. It's a grift. And instead of using your knowledge, your expertise, your skills and talents, your connections to other, skilled and talented people, your networks, you just kind of like manipulate and steal, plagiarize, um, scam, bully, your way to success, exploit, so on and so forth. So, so, sorry, my eyebrows are a very serious thing for me. So anyway, it becomes this game where you're essentially like manipulating people. You're utilizing your understanding of psychology. You're utilizing your understanding of, economics and people's lifestyles, their spending habits, their priorities, or the way that people prioritize. Their need to be included in society because nobody wants to be the GOAT. And I referenced this in another post I made earlier this week, and it actually comes from I think I referenced it in a post I mentioned earlier this week, but it comes from an article called What a Psychologist Thinks. I believe that's what it's called. Um, or What a Therapist Thinks. And it was sent to me some years back when I was doing like this kind of like a counseling type situation. It wasn't with someone who was like a therapist or anything, but someone who, had knowledge, had some training and just an understanding and a care for people. So, was opening herself up to just sit, talk, and listen. And she sent me this article basically talking about the goat and the different goats of society, and basically what the goat is and how we all know the goat, and we may even find ourselves like not caring for the goat when they're like in our presence, or not necessarily having the most positive thoughts and opinions about the goat. But in reality, like in society, we need our goats. Like we don't realize just how much they advocate for us, for change, for growth, for progress, and how much they encourage us to be honest and true to ourselves. The goat being that one outlier society that's like, why is this shit the way that it is? And why do we continue to put up with this when we literally don't have to? One second. So it's like we have an issue with those people being like the leaders or the guidance or the prominent figures of these communities, these programs, these so on and so forth, right? We demonize them as um basically being problems and troublemakers and distractions and whatever. But the reality of the situation is that they actually promote progress, they promote change, they promote um insightful thinking, they encourage self-sufficiency and like doing your own research and really being solid in your understanding of what things are, and not just taking what someone else or other spaces and places told you is acceptable in the way things are supposed to be. And I follow a lot of brilliant people, so I'm constantly like taking in. I'm gonna be a little bit all over the place with this episode, so just follow me. I'm constantly taking in insight because as I've gotten older and I've noticed the grift of folks, I have made it a point to you know be more aware of where I place my support and be more aware of the people that I allow into my creative headspace, because the things that I look at and I take on a constant basis become a part of my artistic mind, my creative mind. And that's because I feel like as artists, especially those who are still in spaces and stages where they don't have much, um, you use what is in your surroundings. You use whatever you can get to inspire you, as resources, as materials, um, as components, as catalysts. You use what you got to get what you want. And that's a quote from my favorite movie that is probably like not well, definitely not critically acclaimed, but I find a lot of um pieces of myself and my understanding of the world. And it's funny, it's campy, it's some black shit. It's things that I love about art. It's sensual, it's erotic, it's open to exploring the taboo. But anyway, um I say all that to say that I follow a lot. Now I'm very discerning. So I follow a lot of people that I genuinely like. I trust even if I don't agree with everything they say, I trust their knowledge, their devotion to knowledge and understanding and truth telling and community and support and genuine love and all these other things. And I like what they're doing. I think that they have beautiful creative visions, um and I can identify, even if it's not like a direct relation, I can identify with the artistry they put out. Anyway, so I take in a lot from the things that um are going on around me, and it's stuff that I carry with me like literally all the time. And so sorry. I'm trying to do multiple things at one time while I do this because I'm already getting a late start to my day. One second. Okay, I'll deal with that later. Anyway, what did I just put the Oh, okay. So anyway, some things that I've taken in, first of all, my sister, one of, my creative friends that I get a lot of inspiration from, but also, I have a lot of direct communication with. We talk, and when we talk, we go into it, like, and I love that about her because she, that's something I can relate to, like deep thinking and wanting to understand and exploration and trying to get to the root of and understanding how things function so that I can, speak my piece on it. Like if I have a good solid understanding of it, then I can truly say some shit about it. And just, relating on the level of being quote unquote surviving artist and very grassroots, very interpersonal and just not gimmicky with the shit, coming from a very authentic and heart inspired genuine space. And so, we talk about a lot of things, and so this is not in any particular order, but one thing that has come up for me this week in our conversations, we talk a lot about the because I feel like, we both have marketing backgrounds. Hers is a little bit more extensive than mine. Um, but well, a lot more extensive than mine. I just studied the shit. She actually worked in it. But and I feel like she has such a great, knowledge of the processes and the functions and the ways to do it, even when trying to avoid the gimmick, whatever the fuck I'm trying to say of it all. Like, I don't know. I just really like, she pulls me in for real. She has a true gift. And We often speak about like the way that um the stuff that seems to be the most attractive to the majority, not everybody, but the majority, and it is the majority because numbers don't lie. Um, but it's like, and the thing is, I'm all over the place. Sorry, I know people aren't stupid, so like we often speak about how like people want to be lied to, people want to be played with, people want to be gamed and sold a dream. And my understanding of marketing and all of these things, the understanding is the way these things work. This is just basic. I'm not going into detail. Marketers, especially, old school marketing, and they still do it that way. They just kind of like transform the medium. And so that has kind of altered the dynamics in which they go about it and the things that they place precedence on, or the avenues in which get the most, I guess, respect or attention or whatever. So the goal is to, like I said, understand, these spending habits, these priorities, the psychology, and the way that you kind of break this down into very basic segments without overcomplicating it is: where are people from? Where do they live? How much money do they make? What is their education background? What is their career? What is their ethnicity? And so these things will give you insight into how people spend, why people spend, what they spend their money on, what drives them to spend, what things they place precedence on as far as where their money is going to go. And then when you take care of all of the like necessities, the actual needs of these people, what are the things that they will place precedence on outside of their necessities that they believe enhance their lifestyle, their status? What are things that they place precedence on based off of the lives that they're already living that will affect things that they're buying that are not necessities? So like different communities, based off of research, and this is not, again, every single person, but very just surface level understanding, certain communities will purchase certain things because they need to fit a certain image, right? People have their own understanding of who these people are, and the types of people that they are and what they do. And so they're spending their money in particular ways because they want to be perceived a certain way. They're buying certain items because they want to be able to uphold certain images, because a lot of this like lifestyle and class stuff, it affects the spaces in which we're accepted into, which affect the resources that we have, the networks that we have, how far we can go in life. And so we often talk about like just this observation that we see of people are clearly not deaf, dumb, or blind. And though I feel like people may lack knowledge in certain spaces, or they lack, a complete understanding of something, or, they're just not familiar with certain things. My cat is going crazy. They, maybe for whatever reason, they may be ignorant, and that is not a judgment on them. Like, some things we just don't know. No matter how long we've been around, depending on the type of lifestyle that we live in our communities and certain things, like there's just certain things that we do not know. Or it's not at the forefront of our awareness, because it doesn't have to be. And that's just, the world that we live in. And so it's not that they don't know, they just choose to play ignorant or not care because they have to prioritize the things that matter to them in their life. So yeah, this person may be lying to me, maybe scamming me, maybe, not necessarily being 100% honest about where they are in life or where their success or wealth or whatever came from in life. However, what they're doing is they're inspiring me to better myself. They're inspiring me to look to something more, something better than what I already have. They are motivating me to get out there and do something that I may find intimidating or whatever. So it's being seen as positive and impactful because it's it is motivating people to do something more or to have more than where they are. And at the end of the day, we all want growth, we all want progress, we all want change, especially if we come from less than in life, you know. So anyway, so what I find is that the reason being, or what I feel like I've observed, is the reason being that people like don't mind this scammery, even when their hard-earned money is involved, is because of that. Like their progress, they're being promoted to progress. They're being promoted to more. They're being promoted to be better than. It's like the same reason why you have people out here who are oppressed and aspire to oppress people. They aspire to be more than what they are and have better than what they have, so they can turn around and do it to people beneath them. I've been in relationships, and I've lost many cohorts, and I'm not going to say it's directly because of this, but I realized that in being a neurodivergent woman, especially having autism, that I lack the sense of filter in a lot of spaces. And I used to be of the mind of like, I'm not able to lie, which is not true. The reality is I'm unable to be inauthentic or disingenuous, if that makes sense. So even if I'm saying something that is not necessarily true, it's not that I'm delusional and I believe it, but it's coming from a space of, this is what I want to do in this moment, and I'm not trying to be sneaky. Like, maybe I just don't want you in my business, or maybe I just don't want to expound, maybe I just don't want to share. Maybe I am worried about, how I'm going to be perceived or whatever. Not saying that I'm a liar, but I do believe everybody lies. So fuck you if you say that you don't. But we all tell a lie. I don't want you to know that I'm busy right now. I don't want you to know that I actually just don't want to hang out with you right now. I don't want you to know that, I'm over here right now when I'm really over there. Whatever the reason is, we all have told a lie and still tell lies. But everyone is not like a untruthful person, meaning that lies are not a a an essential part of their like communication and their being with other people. But if they need to tell somebody something that may not be true based off of whatever conclusion they've come to, that they just need to keep the truth to themselves, they will lie. And I feel like, we as human beings understand that sentiment because, again, we all lie. We're all not liars in the sense of that is our way of communicating and dealing with situations with people. But again, we all have moments where I don't want you to know where I'm at right now. I don't want you to know that I don't want to talk to you right now. I don't want you to know that I'm actually not busy right now. Whatever. And so, of course, I tell untruth, but I'm not a disingenuous person. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and be inauthentic with you. I'm not going to present a person to you that I am not. So my lies are never coming from a space of I want you to believe that I am this when I'm not, or I want to manipulate you into thinking that this is what you're going to get when this is not. Um, Never, ever, ever. So, with that being said, like, yeah, I can tell a lie, but I'm not going to be disingenuous with people, and I just can't be disingenuous with people. That's just not how I operate. Um, so anyway, some people don't care about that. They don't care if they can sense that, you know, you're not a real person. Like, I've realized this as I've gotten older, even in like my work life, that people don't care that they can sense that, the owner or the manager of a company is fake nice, but because they're being polite and politically correct, or appeasing their desires and needs, it doesn't matter that this person is being inauthentic and they can tell. And so the same thing, goes for people who are selling you lifestyles and ideas, or images to portray yourself into, especially when it comes to them making money. Because the reality of it is that when you figure out what it is that people want to spend money on, they want to spend money on the things that they need, and they want to spend money on the things that they feel are going to enhance their life. And a lot of times when it comes to enhancement of your life, it's getting more money, being able to go from not doing the things that you want to do to being able to do the things that you want to do, not being able to worry about things like bills and food and shelter, being comfortable and being able to, pretty much enjoy your life and the fruits of your labor without the constant anxiety of things that significantly affect your survival and your ability to stay alive and thrive. Um, so I realized that people enjoy being toyed with, in that sense, because even if the person is not, being authentic about what it is that they're selling, the image, the appeal, that is authentic. That is coming from a place that is believable. And so the rest don't really matter, you know? The rest do not matter. So even if you are giving them something of value, but it doesn't have the right representation, it doesn't have the right image to it, it's not selling them more, it's not selling them wealth, it's not selling them progress, then they begin to feel as though that this is not worthy of their hard-earned dollar. Yes, this may be helpful to me, but I'm not even going to take the time to figure that out because it's not inspiring me or pushing me, shaming me, whatever, to be more than what I am right now in this moment. It's telling me that it's okay to be who I am and come as I am. And I just don't think that what I am is okay. And that's when I get back to the GOAT of it all, because the reality is that people are not okay with who they are. At the core of it, a lot of people who like don't really have a lot of they're not really like solid in their foundation of who it is that they are in this fake ass world, and they're very like accepting of bullshit, and they're very um accepting of toxicity and problematic people and energy, and seem to have a problem with like things that promote progress and change, even if it'll affect them in a positive way, and even if they don't even have a really good understanding of what it is that is happening. They don't even know why they're upset for real. Hold on. So, I don't remember where I left off at, but you know, you got to be giving people something. And so I went on that whole long ass spiel anyway to come back to something that my sister brought up, and that is what I initially started this uh conversation with, or complaint with rather, because bitch, I'm complaining, is people being the forefront of spaces where that's not really who they are, and they don't even like those people in real life. So she was the one who introduced me to a young lady, and I don't even remember her name, so I'm not even going to bother to acknowledge that part of the story. No shade. um but she introduced me to a young lady who, she got into a bit of a call-in situation with, because basically, long story short, because I've been yapping and I'm drunk and I'm twisted and I'm doing a lot of things right now. But long story short, she's some type of hoochie historian without a real understanding of who and what hoochies are and where they come from. Because when someone referred to her on her public platform that she talks about all this hoochie slut hoe shit with, referred to her, and I don't remember the direct terminology, but basically in terms of a whore, a sex worker, she absolutely had to shut that down with the quickness and let you know, don't you ever disrespect me like that. And I just feel as though it's mighty interesting to me how you really have people out here who want to use these aesthetics of the hoochies, the whores, the sluts to promote their business. They actually don't even have an understanding of what these things are, who these people are, nor do they have the respect in place to even be prominent figures in these communal spaces. Because let me tell you something. As a queer, sexy worker, low income, damn near poor, housing insecure, blue collar, femme woman, whores have been the best people of my entire life, my entire adult life. Okay. Okay. um I have been pretty much abandoned by everybody in my life except the whores, the sluts, the freakos. Those are the only people who support me, who make sure I continue to stay alive, even when I don't have all the necessary tools myself to do so. And if they don't got it directly, they take the time out of their lives to try to source around and help me do the same. Not only because they love me, but especially because they love me, but also because they understand me being a neurodivergent woman. I struggle a lot with, you know, getting things done, being productive, finding resources, all of these things because of the type of support needs that I need for my brand of neurospicy. And there are other people who can relate to that. I am good at masking and looking as though I can do a lot on my own simply because I have to. But I'm terrible at it and I need a lot of support. And so the people in my life, the sexy workers, the sluts, the whores, they do everything in their power to help me get there. And so I struggle with people who co-opt these images and these aesthetics for their own monetary gain and their own uh, economic grift, because the reality of the situation is that even if you are not on the street selling pussy, even if you are not directly selling pussy, I feel like the people in this space or who have an understanding of this space respect the ones who make it possible for all of us. And without yapping too much, the ones who make it possible for all of us are the ones who are at the bottom, the ones who have nothing to lose essentially because they don't have the platform, they don't have the support, they don't have the investment, they don't have the corporate sponsorships and all these other things. So they're able to do the real shit, the real work. They're able to be honest and open without having to worry about losing brand deals and losing corporate backing and losing, whatever. If you love them, you love them. And if you don't, you don't. So they're just going to do what it is that needs to be done. Or they simply just don't give a fuck and they're going to do it regardless. Those are the people who even get shit started and do stuff to the point where other people have to go, wait, well, why is this so bad? And what is the problem with this? And why do we judge this so much? And why do we care? And why aren't we support? You know what I'm saying? And even though it's not perfect, it's definitely not the people that are sitting there following the status quo and doing what they're told to do that are getting those things done. Like, be for real. The GOAT, like I said, those are the people who are actually making shit shake in this world around us. And so it bothers me to have somebody like this and to be so offended, and then to the point where she starts attacking, because I believe the initial person who made a comment on her was a white woman, and this is a black woman, by the way, this hoochie creator. But then to go out of her way to attack another black woman who had valid critiques about her platform and her career being based around something that she is offended by, and it just doesn't make sense to me. And so this is not necessarily for her, but this is in general, that it's a problem, a huge problem, to want to be a leader in spaces where you don't even give a fuck about the people of those spaces, where you are clearly looking down on the people in those spaces. So why is it that you believe that their style, their aesthetic, their image is something to utilize for monetary gain? And then it's like, okay, I understand that pop culture has a habit of co-opting spaces and utilizing it to kind of like bastardize it. So like we're not getting the authentic version of it. We're getting these ignorant takes on what these communities and what these spaces really are in order to make money. But it's just interesting to position yourself as not like an actor or a comedian or a model or whatever, where you are utilizing these images, but as someone as deep and researched and supposed to be well thought as a historian and an archivist, to not even understand that even if you're not a hoe, even if you're just a freaky woman, or even if you're just a free woman and you dress a certain way, you're open, you are non-conforming, like that derives from women who do these explicit jobs. It came from those spaces. It came from these women who were in these communities where it was said that, you know, how dare you? This is not ladylike. This is not respectable. We're gonna we're gonna um we're gonna send you off. We're gonna isolate you. We're gonna, you can't be a part of us anymore. You're not welcome. And for these women to literally have to walk around and lack community and lack resources and have to make a way with no way, have to build their own communities of other isolated people on the outskirts who need love and support, who need acceptance, who need family, who have to um, force other people to change their minds about things or force themselves into spaces so they can be the example, who have to risk safety, security, survival in order for us to just have an eensy beensy bit of change. And those people are worthy of respect because they're human beings. They weren't trying to be appealing. They weren't trying to be trendy. What they were in fact trying to do was be themselves and do what they had to do, Even if, like I said, you aren't a sex worker per se, like you're not out on the corner, you're not booking tricks, being a part of this community, you still understand that this came from something. Those were the people who infiltrated this change. Those are the people who made it possible for me to even know where these outfits came from, or what this style of dance looks like, or um, how to own my sexuality and my sensuality, and how to be able to express it in public spaces. However, because there are varying degrees of it, whether you show the whole thing or you just kind of like express your sensual essence, but being able to be this person this freely in these public spaces because there was somebody before me who took those risks, who set that precedent, who forced these people to, even if it wasn't to necessarily look internally and make these changes, they forced them to understand that these things are going to be here regardless, and these spaces need to be opened up to these people more, because there are ways for you to exploit too. There are ways for you to make money too. There are ways for you to financially succeed off of these marginalized communities who are protesting simply by their existence against the social norms and the status quo and the regular everyday understanding of what's right, even if it doesn't have a true moral compass behind it, even if it's not a well thought out um morality or humanity that drives it, even if it's just a sense of like control and idolatry and programming. It takes a lot to have that sense of this is not right and I'm going to do something different. And I just really, it disgusts me. And I understand now, again, referencing the people that I admire and I respect. I understand now, and I've been understanding it more as time has gone on the past, like, I don't know, year or so, that calling out people is not how you get community, and calling out people and trying to guilt them is not how you make them care about stuff. Because the reality is that The only way people are going to care about stuff is if they care about stuff. If it affects them in some way or it touches them in some personal way, that makes them open their minds to realize that this is a problem, and that's not to say that there aren't people who just have empathy and they understand and they get it. But a lot of times, like, you're not going to get people's respect and understanding by doing these things. So a lot of what I have been trying to do lately is kind of like calm down my aggression and my anger. But still allowing myself to be authentic in my approach and be authentic in my expression of how things make me feel, how the world around me makes me feel, and how it's very discouraging to be in spaces where community is not prioritized, where compassion is not prioritized, understanding is not prioritized, authenticity is not prioritized, because the goal here is to not change your mind. The goal here is to connect with like-minded individuals. And so if I am more open and more content in my approach of connecting, then I regress from my intention to attack and berate those who I feel are doing the wrong thing or paying attention to the wrong stuff or investing in the wrong stuff. Because the reality is that they don't give a fuck. And that's why they are where they are. And that's why they're paying attention to the things that they're paying attention to. So it's more so, like my peers have been saying, a call in to the people who can understand and who can relate. That, yeah, it's understanding to find ourselves in spaces where we may want to appear to be something that we're not, because the reality is that the world is telling you that that's what you have to do. That is what we appreciate. That is what we support and give blessings to, are people in spaces that are not being themselves and are making a genuine effort that can be believed. Not that the authenticity is not there. Okay, so like the disingenuousness of it all is able to be seen. However, the effort into presenting the image, the overall hype, the investment of the aesthetic and the overall image is what the appreciation is. The ensuring that you're selling me something that I don't already have, that is better than what I already have, is what is being appreciated. And being able to do so, you will get much farther, because that is where people want to be. They don't want to be themselves. They want to be better than themselves. We have collectively bought into the idea that we are not enough, and in order to find success, we have to have more than what we have. We have to be more than what we are. We have to reach these, superficial levels of progress and success that, other people have bought into, surface level things that don't really amount to anything and mean much on a human level, a soul level, but are able to attract people because they look good and they may feel good, or they may present the ability to have more than what we already have, to do more than we can already do. And in a world like in today's economy where everybody is struggling, where everybody is trying to get more, where everybody wants to do more than just barely scrape by, yeah, that's appealing. That's marketable. That's desirable. We all want it. We want to be able to go on vacations. We want to be able to eat the nice meals that we want. We want to be able to buy nice things for ourselves on special occasions or when we're successful. We want to be able to have these pretty designer things that are nice and bright and shiny and popular and symbols of status. We want to be able to um look back on our journeys from the beginning and say, yeah, I've come up and I have uh uh achieved this American dream of working hard and having so much more than the nothing that I started off with. But the reality is that that doesn't work out for a lot of us. And the ones that it does work out for, a lot of times it happens because they are pretending to have the things that other people want to have. They're pretending to be the more that other people want to be. And right now, it's very appealing to be real. It's very appealing. It's very appealing to be down to earth and uh, like a rags to riches type of thing. And so a lot of people will utilize these images of being whores or being gangsters, being hood niggas, being homeless, having bad grades all throughout, their upbringing, being shitted on all throughout their upbringing by like the adults around them and proving people wrong. It's like this rags to riches story because that's the American dream. And because the economy is so bad and because people are lacking so much and because everything is so much more expensive, but wealth and capital is not really increasing for most people, like that is definitely the goal and the dream to aspire to. So people are utilizing these images and co-opting these spaces so they can make themselves look like people who are these real down to earth people. But the reality is, it's like they're using them as stepping stones, or they're using them to take precedence over the people who may not have the resources to show you the bright and shiny, who are giving you the content, but because it's not packaged in the way we're told is acceptable, it's not getting the views, it's not getting the love and the attention. So these people who have no vision are able to utilize that as their mood board and their inspiration and their muses with no acknowledgement, with no payment, with no compensation, with no return on investment, so that they can present something more successful than what that person has, that is more um, appealing than what that person has. And so that they're able to show, like, yeah, I may be fake, but I have the knowledge and it's packaged in this way that you want to see it. But anyway, because I trailed off. Um, just talk to the people who can relate. Just talk to the people who understand. Just talk to the people who you want to connect with, and don't talk to the people who are rejecting you, because they're rejecting you on purpose. And if we do feel as though, because I noticed this too, we have a problem with people speaking out on the wrongs. So if you have a problem, again, referencing the people that I admire and respect, if you do have a problem with something that someone is speaking on, talk to them. Let's start establishing actual communication and community with people, because we don't have to have beef with people, and we don't have to create this like internet beef so that we can like gain more viewers based off of the fact that we got scandal and drama online. Like, let's actually talk to people and create an understanding of where one another is coming from, because the reality is that a lot of times these people are not shitting on people. These people are not dogging anybody. These people are not complaining. What these people are doing is these people are making an observation about the world that they live in. So if I'm an artist and I create and I do stuff, then I am going to pay attention to those that I relate to, and I'm going to pull inspiration from those I relate to, in addition to my experiences or the things that I see, or the things that I see. So if I'm paying attention to other artists, or if I'm paying attention to other peers, and they're saying things, calling attention to, making calls of action, promoting, announcing, discussing things that I may not necessarily agree with 100%, and I have something to say about it, because that's the thing, I choose my battles. I don't always have something to say. But if I have something to say about it, then I'm going to talk to them. I'm not going to talk at them. I'm going to speak with them. I'm not going to try to embarrass them on my platform so that I can gain more respect from the people who I feel as though are supposed to support me and follow me. That's not what I'm going to do. Because if I respect you as a creator and I respect you as an artist, I really want to know where you come from. Otherwise, I'm just not going to acknowledge it at all, because it's not that big of a deal for me to even react to it. But because of the respect and the understanding that we have as creators and artists and human beings, if it's such a problem, I'm going to say something like, girl, what does this mean? But also, we just need to be more open and understanding of people have feelings and people have observations and people need to express themselves. And it's not a direct slight against us. And it's not a direct attack against us as individuals. Like, I'm not talking to you. And if that is who you are or what you do to me, and you feel as though it applies to you, then reevaluate yourself. And if we have that relationship, ask me. Because I'm going to tell you, bitch. But this is just going to be part one of my complaints on the Philosophy, Bullshit, and Complaints podcast, because I've been drinking and I've been talking for an hour now, and I have other stuff to do. It is 4:00. And I need to teach a class. So I will see you guys later. Thank you for joining me.